Let's talk about something every man faces, but most are too afraid to admit. Women have options. Whether it's social media, dating apps, or simply walking into a room, a woman can easily get attention from multiple men at once. And if you're not careful, you can end up feeling like you're just another face in the crowd, replaceable, forgettable, and overlooked. That's the situation a lot of men find themselves in, chasing, competing, and hoping to be the one she finally settles on. But here's the key. The man she chooses isn't the one who begs for her time, bends over backward, or plays it safe. The man she chooses is the one who knows exactly who he is and makes her feel like she has the most to lose if she lets him go. This video is about showing you how to become that man. We're going to break down what really makes a woman prioritize you when she has other men in her inbox, in her DMs, or even right next to her in real life. And no, it's not about looks, money, or even smooth talk. It's about energy, presence, and the unshakable confidence that makes her realize she can't replace you with anyone else. I want you to think about this. How many times have you seen a woman pass on guys who seem to have it all on paper only to lock in with a man who just had that undeniable pull? That's not luck, that's strategy. And in this video, I'm going to give you the tools to stop competing like every other man and start standing out as the only man who actually matters. So, if you're tired of being an option and you're ready to flip the script so that she feels the pressure to win you over, then stay tuned. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to position yourself as the man she chooses, even when she has 100 other options. 1. Why chasing her always backfires. Every man has been told the same lie at some point. If you like her, show her. Chase her. Prove you're the one. That advice is why so many men end up frustrated, ghosted, and wondering what went wrong. Because the moment you start chasing, you flip the power dynamic against yourself. You go from being the prize to being the pursuer. And women are hardwired to value what they have to earn, not what's thrown at their feet. Think about it. When you chase, you're communicating one dangerous message. You are above me. You are more valuable than me. I'll do whatever it takes just to get your attention. And the second she feels that, she loses respect. Respect is the foundation of attraction. Once respect is gone, desire follows right after. The problem with chasing is that it puts you in the same box as every other man. She's used to it. Her DMs are full of it. Guys sending compliments, double texting, begging for her time. You blend into the noise. The man who wins is the one who refuses to play that game. He's not running after her. He's making her wonder why he's not. That difference is magnetic. Here's the part most men miss. Women don't choose the man who does the most for them. They choose the man who makes them feel the most. And chasing her doesn't make her feel desire. It makes her feel control. She feels like she can have you whenever she wants, and that kills the spark. On the other hand, when you hold back, when you let her invest, when you show that you're not desperate for her validation, suddenly she feels something powerful. Curiosity, doubt, obsession. Picture this. Two men want the same woman. One is texting her every morning, buying gifts, making himself available 24/7. The other is cool, focused on his purpose, engaging with her, but never overextending. Which man does she think about at night? Not the one blowing up her phone. She thinks about the one who makes her wonder where he is, what he's doing, and why he hasn't chased her like all the others. The reality is simple. Chasing her will never make her choose you. It makes you predictable. It makes you replaceable. And it makes her take you for granted. Attraction isn't built by begging for her time. It's built by making her feel like she has to earn yours. The man who understands this instantly separates himself from the pack. He's not desperate. He's not thirsty. He's a man who knows his worth. And that's exactly the type of man a woman with options can't resist. So if you want to stop being overlooked, stop running after her. Pull back. Focus on yourself. Let her chase you. That's when she'll start to see you not as one of many, but as the only one who stands out. 2. The power of making her earn. Why chasing her always backfires you. Most men have it completely backward. They think the way to win a woman is to shower her with effort, give her all their time, and prove their boyfriend material right from the start. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When you hand over your attention and commitment too easily, she doesn't value it. Why? Because she didn't earn it. And people, especially women, only value what costs them something. Think about the last time you bought something expensive, something you really worked for. Maybe it was a car, a watch, or even an apartment. You appreciated it differently than the cheap thing you got without effort. The same psychology applies in dating. If a woman doesn't have to work for your attention, it loses its value. She might enjoy it for a moment, but she'll toss it aside the second she gets bored. Here's where it gets controversial. Women actually want to earn you. They might not admit it, but deep down they crave the challenge. A woman will respect and desire the man who forces her to invest emotionally, mentally, even physically far more than the one who hands himself over on a silver platter. When she has to put in effort, she becomes emotionally tied to you. That's why women chase the guy who seems a little out of reach while ignoring the one bending over backward for her. But let's be clear. Making her earn you doesn't mean playing petty games or being cruel. It means holding yourself to a standard. Don't give her unlimited access to your time. Don't reveal every detail of your life instantly. Don't act like her approval is oxygen. Instead, set the frame that you are the prize. You bring value. And if she wants a seat at your table, she has to bring something more than just her looks. Here's the mistake average men make. They're afraid that by pulling back or by demanding more, they'll lose her. But what they don't realize is that if a woman walks away because she has to put in effort, she was never going to choose you anyway. The women worth having will respect the man who makes them prove themselves. Let me paint a picture. Two men take a woman on a date. The first man is overly accommodating, hanging on her every word, already planning date number 2 before the first one ends. The second man is calm, present, enjoying himself, but he doesn't act like she's already won him over. He makes her wonder, did I impress him? Does he even like me as much as I like him? Guess which man she's thinking about the next day? The second one. Because he flipped the script. He made her chase his approval. The real power lies in never forgetting this. Women don't fall for the man they can have too easily. They fall for the man who makes them feel like they've earned him. That's the man who keeps her hooked even when she has endless options. 3. Stop competing. Start standing. The power of making her earn you out. One of the biggest mistakes men make is believing they're in some kind of competition for a woman's attention. They see other guys texting her, liking her photos, or trying to impress her. And they think the only way to win is to play the same game, just harder. More messages, bigger compliments, flashier gestures. But the truth is, the second you try to compete with other men for her attention, you've already lost because you've put yourself in a race where she holds the trophy and she's the one deciding who gets it. The men who win are the ones who don't step onto the racetrack at all. Let's use a real scenario. Imagine a woman walks into a bar. Instantly, a few men notice her and start circling. One guy buys her a drink. Another one tries to crack a joke. Another asks where she's from. They're all performing for her, waiting for her approval, trying to stand out by outdoing each other. Now picture another man. He's sitting back, relaxed, not chasing her at all. Maybe he notices her, maybe he doesn't. But he's engaged in his own world, laughing with his friends, confident in his energy, not thirsty for her validation. Who does she notice? Not the men lining up to please her. She notices the man who doesn't even seem to care whether she's there or not. That's the paradox most men miss. Competing makes you look like every other guy because most men operate from scarcity. They're terrified of losing their chance, so they overcompensate with effort. But the man who stands out is the one who signals abundance. He's not chasing. He's not trying to prove himself because he knows he has options and value beyond her attention. That confidence radiates louder than any pickup line. The reason women choose men who stand out instead of men who compete is psychological. Competition screams insecurity. Standing out screams certainty. When you compete, you're admitting that you see other men as threats, which means you don't trust your own worth. But when you stand out, you make it clear that you don't even acknowledge competition. You're not in her inbox begging for a reply. You're not the guy showering her with constant validation. You're the man she has to figure out, the one she wonders about, the one who makes her ask, "Why doesn't he chase me like everyone else?" Here's the kicker. When you stop competing, you flip the pressure onto her. Suddenly, she's the one trying to stand out to you. She'll invest more, she'll initiate more, and she'll crave your approval because you're not handing it out cheaply. That's when you separate yourself from the pack. Not by doing more, but by doing less and owning your value. Men who compete get used, ignored, or forgotten. Men who stand out get chosen. The difference comes down to one thing. Are you trying to win her over, or are you making her earn the chance to win you? Stop competing. Start standing out. 4. Silence and distance beat talk. Most men are addicted to words. They believe that if they just say the right thing, give enough compliments, send the perfect text, or craft the smoothest lines, a woman will finally give in. But here's the harsh truth. Words don't make her choose you. Silence does. Distance does. Because silence creates tension and distance creates desire. When you rely on sweet talk, you're trying to force attraction with effort. You're giving her everything up front, validation, attention, and reassurance. It feels good to her in the moment, but it doesn't make her crave you. It actually has the opposite effect. When she knows you'll always be there with another text, another compliment, another attempt to win her over, she stops valuing it. The more you talk, the more predictable you become. And predictability kills mystery. Now let's flip it. Imagine you stop giving her endless words. Imagine you pull back. No over-explaining, no chasing, no constant updates. Instead, you give her silence. That silence forces her to think. She starts asking questions. Why isn't he chasing me like the others? Did I lose his attention? Is he interested in someone else? That curiosity eats at her because she's not in control anymore. You just turn the tables without saying a word. Distance has the same effect. When you're always available, always around, she knows exactly where to find you. There's no urgency, no scarcity. But when you pull away, even just a little, you create space for her to miss you. And missing you is far more powerful than hearing you. Sweet words might make her smile for 5 seconds, but silence and distance make her lie awake at night, replaying every moment with you in her head. The irony is, women will never admit this outright, but they respond more intensely to absence than to presence. A man who constantly talks about how much he wants her doesn't trigger the same emotions as the man who leaves her wondering where she stands. That mystery is addictive. That's what creates the pull. Let's be real, anyone can sweet talk. Every guy in her DMs is trying to say the right thing, but very few men have the discipline to pull back, to let their silence speak louder than their words. That's why silence and distance are so effective. They separate you from the noise. They prove that you're not desperate for her attention because you don't need her validation to feel valuable. The men who get chosen aren't the ones who flood her with endless words. They're the ones who know when to step back, when to stay quiet, and when to let her imagination do the work. In the end, silence makes her chase. Distance makes her invest. Sweet talk that just makes you another voice in the crowd. 5. How indifference triggers her silence and distance beats sweet talk obsession. One of the biggest mistakes men make in relationships is believing that the more love, effort, and constant reassurance they pour into a woman, the more she'll value them. It sounds noble, but in reality, it backfires. Why? Because when a woman feels like she has you completely, when she knows you'll never walk away, never pull back, never challenge her, she stops obsessing over you. Comfort turns into complacency. Desire fades. The fire dies not because you didn't give enough, but because you gave too much without requiring anything in return. Indifference, on the other hand, is the silent weapon that keeps her invested. Indifference doesn't mean you don't care about her. It means you don't center your entire life on her moods, her demands, or her attention. You're not shaken if she's distant. You don't beg for her affection. You're calm, grounded, and unbothered. That emotional detachment makes her feel something she can't ignore: uncertainty. And uncertainty, when it comes from a confident man, creates obsession. Picture this. A woman is in a relationship with a man who is endlessly available. He answers every call within seconds, adjusts his schedule around her, and bends over backwards to avoid conflict. At first, she enjoys the attention, but over time, she begins to lose respect. His predictability kills the tension. Now picture another man. He loves her. He spends time with her. But he's not afraid to step back when she pushes too far. He doesn't argue endlessly. He doesn't prove himself over and over. If she acts out, he calmly withdraws. He's indifferent to her attempts to control him. Guess which man she thinks about when she's alone? The one who doesn't crumble under pressure. Indifference is powerful in relationships because it reestablishes polarity. Women are drawn to men who stand firm, who don't lose themselves in the relationship, who maintain their individuality. A man who practices indifference shows her he has boundaries. He's not going to chase validation. He's not going to beg. That energy forces her to rise to his level, to invest more, to fight for his attention the same way he once fought for hers. Here's what most men get wrong. They believe showing indifference means being cold, ignoring her, or shutting her out. That's not it. True indifference is emotional control. It's the ability to say, "I love you, but I'm not afraid to walk away if this doesn't align with my standards." That unshakable frame makes her feel like she could lose you. And that's when the obsession kicks in. Women are wired to chase what they fear losing. In a relationship, obsession doesn't come from endless romance or over-the-top gestures. It comes from a man who remains just out of reach, who keeps his sense of self, and who never lets her believe she has total control over him. That kind of indifference doesn't push her away. It pulls her closer because she's reminded that she's with a man other women would kill to have, and she'll do whatever it takes to keep him. How indifference triggers her obsession. 6. The secret of making her fear losing you. If there's one truth most men don't want to hear, it's this. Love alone isn't enough to keep a woman obsessed with you. Comfort and security might make her stay for a while, but what truly keeps her locked in is the fear of losing you. That fear is what sparks urgency, what drives investment, and what separates the man she tolerates from the man she fights to keep. Now, some people will call this manipulative. They'll say relationships should be built on unconditional giving, on never letting her doubt your love. But let's be real. Look around. The men who give women everything on a silver platter, who never allow space, who never challenge her, are the same men who end up being taken for granted, cheated on, or replaced. Women don't lose sleep over men they're certain they've already secured. They lose sleep over the man who could walk away if she stops bringing value. The fear of losing you isn't about playing games. It's about maintaining standards. It's about making it clear through your actions, not just your words, that you are not a man who will tolerate disrespect, laziness, or entitlement. When she knows that your presence is conditional on her effort, she never gets comfortable enough to coast. And that's where true desire thrives. Imagine two relationships. In the first, the man bends to every demand. She can raise her voice, give him attitude, withdraw intimacy, and he'll still be there apologizing, trying to fix everything. In the second, the man commands respect. If she crosses the line, he doesn't argue or beg. He steps back. His silence and detachment send a clear message. I won't stick around if this continues. Which man do you think she takes seriously? Which man do you think she fears losing? Here's the controversial part. A little fear is healthy in love. Not fear of harm or cruelty, but fear of losing a man who embodies strength, value, and self-respect, That fear keeps her invested. It makes her double-edged check her behavior. It makes her chase your approval, and it makes her value your presence. Without that element, relationships slip into complacency. And complacency is where attraction dies. The men who get chosen over and over are not the ones who love the hardest or give the most. They are the ones who balance love with consequences. They show affection, but they also show backbone. They give their time, but they also make it clear that their time can be taken away if it's not appreciated. That balance is what makes a woman wake up every day knowing she has to keep showing up. Because losing you isn't an option she can stomach. The secret isn't to make her comfortable. The secret is to make her just uncomfortable enough to never forget your value. That's the difference between being the man she settles for and the man she never risks letting go. The secret of making her fear losing you 7. Why the man with options always wins. At the end of the day, the man who always wins is the man with options. Not because he brags about them, not because he flaunts them, but because women can feel it. They can sense when a man is not desperate for their attention, when he doesn't need them to validate his worth. That kind of energy is rare and it's magnetic. A man with options doesn't chase, he chooses. And that single shift in power changes everything. Most men operate from scarcity. They meet a woman they're attracted to and instantly they lock in as if she's their only shot. They smother her with effort, overinvest, and cling for dear life because deep down they're terrified of losing her. But here's the reality. The moment a woman knows she's your only option, she loses attraction. She feels the imbalance, she senses the neediness, and she pulls back. Now flip the script. A man with options moves differently. He's not threatened if she pulls away. He's not afraid to walk if she disrespects him. Why? Because he knows there are other women who would be more than happy to take her place. That unspoken confidence forces her to take him seriously. She realizes she's not the prize. He is. That realization is what makes her fight to keep him. Here's the part most men don't realize. Women are naturally drawn to men who other women want. It's called pre-selection. When she senses that you are desired, that you're valuable in the eyes of others, she starts to see you differently. The man with options doesn't have to say a word about it. His behavior speaks for him. He's calm, centered, and never overreacts because he doesn't live in fear of losing her. That emotional strength alone makes him irresistible. Picture this. A man in a relationship who makes his woman his entire world. He drops his hobbies, his friends, his mission. Over time, she loses respect because she feels his life revolves around her. Compare that to the man who stays focused on his purpose, maintains his connections, and never sacrifices his identity. She knows other women notice him. She knows he doesn't need her. He chooses her. That's when she becomes protective, loyal, and obsessive, because she knows losing him means another woman will gladly step into her place. The man with options doesn't just attract women. He commands respect. He never begs. He never settles. And he never plays small just to keep someone around. That's why he always wins. Not because he's the flashiest, not because he's the richest, but because he's the man who can walk away without hesitation. When you live like you have options, you stop clinging to women. You stop begging for attention. You become the man she can't afford to lose. And in a world where women have endless choices, the man who also has choices will always be the one who stands above the rest. Conclusion. At the end of the day, women may have endless options, but the man who wins is the one who refuses to be just another choice. When you stop chasing, make her earn you. Stand out. Use silence, practice indifference, hold her accountable, and live like a man with options. You shift the power completely. You stop being replaceable and become unforgettable. That's how you make her choose you, even when she has 100 other men waiting in line. If this hit home, subscribe, share this with a friend, and step into the mindset of the man women can't ignore.